The brand new Mini Cooper Electric is finally here, and I've got my hands on this for the whole day. And I'm going to be able to compare to see exactly what it's like compared to the previous Mini kind of Cooper generation. And you might be thinking, Nick, you don't own a Mini, so how can you make that comparison? No, I don't, but my partner does. And I've driven it a fair few times, and I've got to say that go-kart feeling is great fun. It does sound good too. Now this, of course, is the electric version. So I'm going to compare and kind of see what the interior and of course the exterior is like compared with the previous generation. And certainly from the looks of it, it looks quite impressive. But before any of that, I need to check out the exterior first. So before any of that, let's start out on price first. So this being an electric car, it is of course going to be a little bit more expensive than the kind of petrol version of a Mini Cooper, but you do get the reduced running costs and that sort of thing. Mini Cooper Electric starts from about, well, exactly £30,000, which does sound like quite a lot of money, but let's not forget the fact that, well, the first EV I ever reviewed, I think was over 80. They are starting to appear in smaller cars. And yes, I know Mini Cooper Electric has been around for a little while now, but it is good to see that, certainly with this one with the increased range, which we will get onto, it is good to see that it kind of achieves that higher range now, but also the price isn't too high. It still is a city car, and I have heard it still just have go-kart-like performance. So we will test that out, because this one I have here is the faster version. So I should add, this one is, I think, as fully spec'd as it goes. I've got to say, it does look quite nice. I'm really loving the red mirrors and kind of the colour contrast between the darker colour paintwork. But of course as well, notice they do have new lights. It's almost like what I'm doing right now, because it's so bright out, kind of squinting at people. These lines added to the lights here still has that kind of traditional Mini element with the kind of oval lights, but has that kind of almost like angry squinting look, which apparently does change in certain conditions and things like that. So right, well, let's have a look at the back, because the back is quite sporty on this one as well. Now, you know this car means business when, of course, it has a rear spoiler. And of course, all this kind of colour two-tone variation from the roof to the kind of paint, as I mentioned a second ago. Even John Cooper Works badging on said spoiler as well. New rear lights as well. These have kind of a slight different design compared to the previous ones. So I have read online that some people have mixed feelings about them, but I don't know, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Many have obviously gone with a slightly different kind of look this time round. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. One really important thing I should add is that this is only available in a 3-door, or 2-door if you don't count the boot. So there is no option for a 5-door from what I've heard. I did ask Mini this, and they don't have any plans for a 5-door version of the Mini Cooper Electric yet, if not at all. So yeah, there's nothing like that. So it is only available in 3-door. I will check out the rear legroom. I can imagine this is going to be quite comical for me, being 6'2" with quite long legs. But yeah, we will check that out, and of course the boot as well in just a second. But before any of that, dimensions for the exterior. Now, the dimensions for length are 3,858mm, width 1967mm, and height 1460mm. Now, when it comes to the boot is manual, so it goes up and it struts like that, and then you, of course, pull it down, so it's not electric or anything. But as you see right here is 210 litres. Now, what is quite cool is that Mini do actually provide the stats for if you fold one seat down or if you fold both seats down, which is quite handy. So if you fold one down, it's 650 litres, and if you fold the other down, it's 800 litres. I wish more manufacturers gave that information, because that would be quite handy. But yeah, in terms of underfloor storage space, there is space for the cable, but that's pretty much it. There is also no frunk either. So literally in the boot here is what you have, and of course, folding the seats down just like that. Right, let's check out the rear seats, which is going to prove a bit tricky for me. Now, yes, this is exactly what I mean. I'm 6'2", so I've got naturally like really long legs anyway, so I do have to have the seat further back, and this is my driving position, and well, I would have to not have legs to sit in there. I will, however, just move this as far forward as I can, and then try and sit in the back then. So I'm probably going to say, probably about there. Let's see if the steering wheel goes in anymore. Oh, it does go in a bit. Maybe about there. Yeah. Let's try that. Well, guys, I can do it. Just about. So that's with me moving the seat as far forward as I can to still safely drive, and then sat by myself. So yeah, as I mentioned, I mean, I do have naturally long legs anyway. So, I mean, you're not kind of buying this car to carry like adults all the time, but you can do it. just for that one kind of occasional journey. Okay guys, so up front we have this awesome Mini design. I've got to say, this is really, really funky. Now I know I'm in the sports one at the moment, which I mentioned with the trim and packages earlier, so this does have a lot of kind of sporty elements. Like, I mean, look at this, like John Cooper Works. It's almost like seatbelt material, red stitching, you're reminded of John Cooper Works everywhere, so it really does look sporty. You've even got this like leather strap going here as well, all these design elements, and the build quality is like really, really good. I mean, Minis themselves, I was surprised in my partner's Mini Cooper S, that one's actually like really, really good. There's solid materials everywhere, and when you shut the door, you really feel it's really, really solid. So yeah, everywhere there's all these kind of like squidgy materials. I would probably say the plastics are probably just on the bottom of the doors. It's kind of traditional for this sort of price point car, and just down here as well. But storage wise, I mean, obviously I know there's a like really, really small boot compared to some other cars, but there again, as I said, it is a Mini. There's loads of storage here. You've got bits in here, there's a 12-volt socket there, there's 2 USB-C ports there, what looks to be wireless charging there, obviously 2 cup holders here with room for a fairly large water bottle, then a little bit of storage in here. Rather annoyingly, this does open the other way round. I'm not sure whether that was something to do with left-hand drive, but yeah, annoyingly it opens that way round. It's a shame it can't open towards the driver, but hey ho. Then we have the glove box over here. Again, yeah, nice standard size, no like weird fuse boxes like taking up space on the inside. So yeah, all round it's really, really nice. And the steering wheel, as I said, nice and sporty as well, similar to the previous one. The steering wheel actually has buttons on it, which is quite nice, because I know a lot of cars do or have gone for this kind of touch style thing, but no, these are physical buttons, so nice to see. Only one slight thing, I know this car does have a head-up display, which is quite nice. It does pop in and out automatically, so it looks pretty neat, probably to keep it clean and like dust-free. But if you didn't have the head-up display or the HUD, your speed is here, so there's no instrument cluster in front of you. Now, a lot of cars have done this recently. Tesla comes to mind as well, and Volvo, the EX30. But you do get used to it. Maybe a couple of days of driving and you naturally eyes look here instead of down, so it's just something you get used to. So obviously just something to factor in if you've never tried a car without an instrument cluster, so just thought I'd mention it. Then we come to this array of buttons down here. So number one, we have the volume control that you can spin around here, and the power button for the screen, and we'll get onto the screen in a moment because this is quite cool. Then we have our experience switches. So this is like your driving modes. So you just toggle these up and down. You've got core, go-kart literally there. Was that Mario? So yeah, that kind of sums up probably what that's going to be like. Yeah, core, and then there's green, so that's more of an eco mode. Quite fitting with all the kind of countryside and wildlife around me right now. Now, one really cool thing, you know how some new cars have keyless kind of start? You just press a button, and then older cars used to have the good old-fashioned key if you were driving that long enough. This has kind of both. So the key is literally here, which I'll come on to in a second. But yeah, you just turn that around like a key. So you're turning it like a key, but obviously this is keyless. So this just goes in the car somewhere. Which brings me neatly onto, well, this. It says Mini on the back, but it's not Mini. This is a big key. It's huge. Like, it's definitely like a few centimeters bigger than like most keys I've ever tried. I do like the JCW kind of key thing that comes with it, but that might be like for special models, it might be an accessory or something. But yeah, that key is huge. It says Mini on the back, but that is far from Mini. Just thought I'd mention it because it's quite big. And then the gear stick is here. So you literally just up for reverse, down for drive, and then P for park. Nice and easy. And there's a few other buttons just underneath, like hazards and demisting and that sort of thing. Which brings us neatly onto climate control. Now, climate control is all controlled via the screen. So I know that some people don't like that. They like a physical button to change it, but it's all controlled on the bottom here. So tapping in here in the fan will then bring up all the climate control. And it looks like there's a lot going on, but you just basically move your temperature down here like this, up and down. And of course you've got the passenger over there as well. I've got them synced at the moment and just got the fan down low. But yeah, climate control down there on that bottom one, and then there's a few other buttons just underneath here. So home button will bring up your home screen, which houses all sorts of things. So you've got the battery on the top right up there, and power on the top left there, and total mileage, and just a few shortcuts and quick access to things. And if you want to get to the kind of main menu, tap these circles in the middle and it'll show you everything the car can do. And they do categorize it. So there's like infotainment stuff if you go in here, and then vehicle, recently used, ones you've accessed, that sort of thing. And yeah, sat nav, nice and big. The screen is actually like really, really clear. It is an OLED screen, so OLED. So this is what you find on like LG TVs, like high-end TVs. So the screen kind of fidelity and the resolution is like really, really good. A few extra points for the screen. Responsiveness is very fast. Look here, just scrolling around on the map is super quick. And as this is an EV, searching for charge points is good too, with all the relevant info on there such as charging speed. If you prefer using Apple CarPlay, yes, it has this capability too. Although I wish more screen estate was utilised for Apple CarPlay, it's kind of cropped in the middle in a kind of square format. Would have been nice to see a wider screen for this, making use of the space, but as it's an EV, you're probably going to be using mini side of the multimedia system to complete that charging experience. I did also note that there was an internal camera on some specifications too, where you can take selfies, and one thing I absolutely love, the ability to put your own wallpaper on the screen. Even Apple don't allow you to do that for CarPlay. Now Mini also do have their own voice assistant in the car, just like most car manufacturers these days, but Mini have given it an avatar and also a funky name. He looks just like this. Hey Mini. And there he pops up there. His name is Spike. So yeah, he's kind of like a funky looking dog. So with all of that aside, I think now we've got to take this out for a drive and see what it's like, and just see if it kind of captures that kind of Mini character that they are kind of famous for, because I know a lot of Mini owners are curious. They might be thinking about going electric one day, and does it feel like the petrol version? There's only one way to find out. Alright then guys, so first drive of the Mini Cooper Electric. So foot on brake, power using the key, into drive, and away we go. I'm on the kind of a gravel track at the moment, so let's get out onto the main road where we can put this through its paces. So as this is quite a long kind of private drive, just as we get to the main road, I thought I'd talk about the electric motors. So there are two to choose from. There's one at 184 horsepower, that's 0 to 62 is around 7.3 seconds. Then there's this one, which is 218 horsepower with 6.7 seconds. So hopefully it's going to live up to that kind of go-kart name and go-kart feel. It definitely does have that go-kart mode. Right, bumpy. Now, of course, all Mini Cooper Electrics are front-wheel drive, so we'll see how that handles when we kind of put it through its paces. You can already feel how firm the suspension is, which is a good thing. That's what Mini Coopers are like, certainly from the Mini Cooper S that I've driven quite a lot of. That suspension in that car is rock hard, and that is kind of that, I'm going to refer to it a lot, that kind of go-kart feel. So, yeah, be good to see what it's like on the main road in just a second. Okay. Now that sounds interesting. I'm sure you could change the modes. That sounded like the Star Wars pod racer. But yeah, I can feel that firm suspension, which reminds me of the Cooper S. So suspension point, yeah, feels like a normal Mini Cooper. Well, while I'm waiting to get to the twisty roads, so what's the range like on the Mini Cooper Electric? Well, it is better than before, which is good, because the previous one was quite low. It limited the amount of people who could kind of get that car, but just because it was so like city and town focused. But now, you know, the range goes up a lot more. So what is this range? So yeah, range can be anything from 177 miles all the way up to about 249, 250 miles on WLTP. Right. Let's get this up to... That definitely does sound like a Star Wars pod racer. This is in the core mode at the moment. I'm curious to know what the other modes are like. Let's try it now. So experiences, go-kart. Ready for the sound? That kind of weird Mario sound. Now that reminds me of a BMW sound. I've driven one of them before. Wonder where they got that sound from. Yeah, that definitely sounds like a BMW sound. Obviously, they work very closely together with sharing some kind of a lot of components. Okay, we'll try that mode again in a moment, but let's just put it in, what was it, green mode. what sound does this make when you accelerate? I don't think there's any sound from the green mode. This is obviously the future, you know, with if everything's going to go electric in years to come, you know, the green mode doesn't have any sound at all. So that's if you don't want any kind of like sounds like this. But yeah, electric cars are silent, so they don't make any sounds. So why not liven it up a bit? This just kind of gives you the option. You don't have to have these on. I'm sure there's a setting where you can turn them off somewhere, but they can be a bit fun, especially when you find a nice windy country road and the speed limit opens up like this here. Oh look, a BMW. And funny, that's electric. That's probably got the same sound as, well, this. Just, these are the kind of sound effects that like happen when you go on like a roller coaster or something. Oh look, 60. Well, it doesn't take long to get to 60, let me tell you that. Well, it definitely feels like the... Oh, we've got a pheasant in the road. You guys are not very car savvy, are you? No. Back up to the speed limit. Yeah, so it definitely does feel like the Cooper S before. Having a large battery on the inside of the car can kind of affect its kind of performance and things, and you know, I'm sure Mini owners are probably thinking, is it going to drive like any of the others? Well, I can't speak for, you know, Minis years ago, but you know, Minis since 2017, 2019, it does feel like those, so that's good. And all this kind of funky design on the inside, I really do like it. Right, well, this review would not be complete without a launch, so I'm going to put this into Core first. I'm going to call the Star Wars Pod Racer mode. And we'll just get out onto here. And 3, 2, 1, go. It really does sound like a pod racer. Oh dear. Okay, and the go-kart mode. Now, is it me? Does this sound like Mario? Anyway, go-kart mode. Are we all nice and clear? Yes, we are. And I guess we'll do the same thing. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh dear. Well, that's quick. Whoever gets one of these won't be disappointed in the performance. So yeah, final thoughts then, guys. Well, I mean, when I was looking for a car last year, back before I bought my daily car, which is a Mercedes A180, I really wanted to go electric. And I did look at cars like the Volvo EX30 as well and things like that. So I did look at some cars. And Mini didn't really have one that kind of suited me in terms of range and that sort of thing, but if this was out last year, this would definitely have been on my radar, so I'm sure this will probably be on my radar again when I come to change, you know. But there again, of course, we already have a Mini in the household at the moment, so could I do with another Mini in the household? Not sure, but we'll see. But yeah, what I mean is that it's definitely a contender. Have a look at one, you know, take one for a test drive, see how you get on. I don't think you would be disappointed in the performance because it's pretty quick. Slightly firmer suspension to some other cars, but that's kind of what the Mini Cooper vibe is all about. But yes, guys, that concludes this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed what you saw. And of course, as always, comments are welcome. Pop them in the comment section down below and I'll do my best to get back to you. But guys, thank you so much. Until next time, see you then.